Welcome to Wealth Matrix Crossroads, where wealth meets strategy. Today, we're talking about something a lot of us feel but maybe can't put a finger on. We're diving into those invisible forces, those quiet little decisions that keep hardworking people feeling, well, stuck. Does this hit a little too close to home? I mean, on paper, you've done everything right. You got the good job, the promotions, the nice-looking salary. But when you look at your bank account, it just doesn't add up. You're running faster and faster, but you're not actually getting anywhere. And that feeling, that disconnect between the success you're supposed to have and the reality you're living, it forces you to ask a really tough question. What if it's not you? What if the whole path we've been told to follow is, well, just broken? To really get to the bottom of this, we first have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. We've got to talk about the external economic systems that are, whether by accident or design, built to keep you right where you are. Okay, let's start with a number that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. Since 1978, the pay for CEOs at the biggest companies in America has gone up by over 1,200%. That's not a typo. 1,200. So what about the average worker over that exact same time? How much has their pay gone up? Just 15%. Not 1,200, 15. A gap that huge doesn't happen by accident. It's a sign that the very structure of our economy has changed in a fundamental way. And look, this wasn't some kind of secret plan hatched in the dark. The philosophy behind it was laid out for everyone to see decades ago. This quote from economist Milton Friedman basically became the operating manual for modern business. The number one goal? Increase profits. And labor, well, that's just a cost you have to manage. So if wages aren't really going up, how do companies keep talented people from just walking out the door? Well, they have a whole toolkit of incentives, and we call them golden handcuffs. Think about it. Stock options you have to wait years for, that big end-of-year bonus you're counting on, your retirement contributions, and maybe the biggest one of all, your health insurance. All of it makes leaving feel incredibly risky and expensive. And this is the result, isn't it? It creates this deep, deep dependency. Your job stops being just a job. It's tied to your family's health, your future retirement, everything. The fear of losing that safety net, man, it can keep you in a job you hate for a very, very long time. But the external system, that's only half the story. We also have to turn inward, because there are some powerful psychological reasons we choose to stay inside this maze. There's this fascinating concept called the aspiration window. See, we don't just dream up our goals in a vacuum. We look at the people around us, our friends, our family, our colleagues, and their success kind of sets the ceiling for what we think is possible for ourselves. If everyone you know is on the same treadmill, it's really hard to even imagine a different way to live. And when a goal feels just too far out of reach, like true financial freedom, we do this funny little thing. It's just like that old fable about the fox and the grapes. He can't reach them, so he convinces himself they were probably sour anyway. We tell ourselves a new story to make our reality feel a little bit better. And this whole mental negotiation usually plays out in one of two ways. First, you can buy in. You start to believe the company's big mission statement. You tell yourself the long hours are for a noble cause. Or you can give in. You just accept your situation as normal, maybe even what you deserve, because facing the truth is just too uncomfortable. So you've got the external system wishing you to stay put, and your own internal psychology telling you it's all okay. When you finally realize you're caught between these two forces, it can lead to this moment of just total paralysis. You're at a crossroads and you're frozen. And here is maybe the most crucial insight of all. Standing still is a choice. Not deciding is a decision. Every day you stay in that paralysis, you are actively choosing to stay in the system, and that choice has very real consequences. So how in the world do you break free? Well, here's a strategy that's actually super effective. Stop trying to figure out the perfect next step. Instead, I want you to define what you absolutely want to move away from. What does your personal living nightmare look like? Be brutally honest. Once you know what you're running from, the direction becomes a whole lot clearer. Look, the goal here is not to make the one perfect, life-changing decision. The goal is just to break the cycle of doing nothing. Making a move, any move, gives you new data, new information. Even if you make a wrong turn, it's so much more valuable than standing still, because at least then you know. And all of this leads us to the final, and I think the most empowering part of this whole thing. Taking the pen back and writing your own definition of what success really means. When you talk to people who have successfully escaped that corporate grind, they almost all come to this very simple but incredibly profound conclusion. Life's just too short. It's too short to be miserable. Their stories show us that success isn't just one thing. It's not just a number in a bank account. For one person, it's leaving a high-flying finance job to bake biscuits and be with family. For another, it's taking a huge pay cut to find tenfold more happiness working with animals. And for others, it's just the freedom to own their own time. So this is the question it all boils down to, and you really have to be honest with yourself. The ladder that you're climbing so hard, did you choose it? Or was it chosen for you by your friends, by society, by those golden handcuffs? All right, let's wrap this all up. We started with that all too common feeling of being stuck. We saw how we're held there by two big traps, the external golden handcuffs and the internal aspiration window. But there is a way out. It starts with action, you gotta break the paralysis, and it solidifies with a mindset shift, redefining success on your own terms. Now, if you understand today's crossroads, you are not gonna wanna miss how tomorrow's leverage is built. In our next video, we're gonna talk about why most education doesn't actually give you more options, how you should structure risk instead of just avoiding it, and how capital can supercharge decisions you're already making. Hey, if this was valuable for you, please hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and maybe share it with someone who needs to hear it. Oh, and we'd love to hear from you, so drop a comment down below. Our promise to you is simple. We're going to keep bringing you quality, enlightening, and enduring lessons in